Guys, happy sunny Wednesday. What a gorgeous day it is. I'm Fee from Fitter Mother. I am delighted to be bringing you your Workout Wednesday in association with Natal Active today. If it is sunny where you are and you get a chance to take this outside, take this session outside, okay? We are doing an absolutely gorgeous stretch and reset session today, so it's going to be suitable for you wherever you are in your motherhood journey, okay? So my business is Fitter Mother. I'm a pre and postnatal fitness coach, but I also work with just busy mums in general. So I teach everything from strength classes to fitness Pilates, and today's session is very much about just loosening off a little bit, okay? So if you feel that you're kind of spending a lot of time either hunched over, maybe you're working and you're at a desk, or you're constantly scooping and carrying and picking up, and you just need to let those shoulders relax down a little bit, open up, thinking about improving our posture. Basically, if you just want to feel good, then this is the session for you, okay? It's going to be really lovely. If you have got a resistance band, guys, grab a hold of your resistance band, okay? Don't worry if you haven't got a resistance band. You do want to see if you can grab hold of something long though. So something like the cord from your dressing gown, the strap from your yoga mat, or if not, a tea towel, your baby's muslin, just something that you can use to give a little extra oomph into some of our stretches would be awesome. And other than that, all you're going to need is a bit of space, either a mat, or if you're outside, just go barefoot and go on the grass, guys, okay? And if you want to stick on some nice gentle music and tunes, then be my guest. I'm not going to do it with music, but I have opened my conservatory door because it's so hot, so you might get some birdsong in the background. But other than that, guys, let's get started. So you don't need this straight away, just pop this down. Make sure that you've got some water. This is suitable, so if you are pregnant, this is going to be absolutely suitable for you. If you're postnatal, again, suitable for you. The only thing I would say is just be guided by your body, guys, okay? So if it feels good, go with it, roll with it. If it doesn't quite feel right, take it back a level. I'll give you a few options, but as I said, it's mainly stretching that we're going to be doing today. So to begin with, I just want you coming and we're going to find our hip width distance. So to begin with, go barefoot if you can, okay? Bring the edges of your feet next to each other and your thighs touching, so you're nice and tight in your little space. I want you to keep your heels pinned together and then turn your toes out towards the corner of the mat or the corner of your space. You're going to rock up onto your toes and you're going to allow your heels to just drop down behind you, so that your hips, your knees and your toes are all in line facing me. Your hips are these bony pits of your body, right? They're always narrower than what people think they are, so you don't need to leave your leg out here. Bring it under, and that's going to be the position that we're going to stand in for most of our stretches. We are going to come down to the mat though. So let's just give our toes a little wriggle, give our legs a little jiggle, a little pedal through if you want to. You can work through the base of your feet, kind of like a cat pawing down on the mat, just to give the bottom of the feet a little stretch out, okay, because that's often overlooked. We'll just do a couple of little paddles through here, kind of find our spot, find our zone. If you've been rushing around, it'll give a chance for your brain to catch up with your body. And then we're just going to do a few little pelvic tilts. So you can either bring your hands onto your hips, guys, or you can bring one hand onto the front of your tummy, the other into the small of your back, wherever you're more comfortable with. And I want you to just soften through your knees and tuck your pelvis under. So you're rolling your pelvis underneath your rib cage a little bit here, okay? And then you're going to press it all the way back, so your bottom sticks out behind you. So neither of these are positions that you want to find yourself naturally standing in day-to-day life, but sometimes we do, right? Sometimes we find that our posture kind of goes a little bit like this. So we're going to use these two kind of extreme positions just to give our pelvis a little bit of mobility. Good, so just rock back and forth. It can feel slightly clunky and awkward when you do it for the first few times, but you'll find your little rhythm. And then just start to straighten up those legs a little bit, but keep that rhythm going, the little tilts going. And then I just want you stopping somewhere in the middle of those two extremes, okay? So you're not tucked all the way under, thrusting your hips forwards, but you're not leaving your bottom behind either. So you've got that nice little tuck. So now your hips should just be sitting underneath your rib cage. Okay, keep those feet narrow. Let's whip up the body a little bit. So just lengthen up through the spine. I want you to imagine that you're just taking a moment to grow taller, so lengthening up through the spine. You can bring your hands onto your rib cage here if you want to. And we're just going to take a moment to take a couple of nice deep breaths in, because again, probably going to guess that you've been rushing around a little bit today, whether you're doing this live with me now or maybe later on this evening. Just taking the time to breathe this through is going to be a really lovely way of just settling into the zone for the next 20 minutes or so together, okay? So let's take an inhale in through the nose. And as you do so, feel that rib cage expanding. That's why I want your hands up here. So fill your lungs with air. And then I want you blowing out nice and softly, as if you're blowing out through a straw. And as you blow out, that rib cage is going to come back together, so back down. We're going to unflare the ribs. So I want you to do this a few times, okay? I'm not going to talk you through it too much because I don't want you to overthink your breathing. I just want you to find your own natural rhythm, but just taking a couple of nice deep breaths. And as you do so, just feeling your feet maybe sinking into your mat a little bit further. And maybe you can let go of your ribs now and just feel your shoulders just starting to relax down. Good, let's give our hands a little bit of a shake, a little bit of a loosen off. I just want you to roll and reset your shoulders one time, that's all. So imagine that I'm stood behind you, okay, just my hands gently pressing down on your shoulders there. So trying to create a bit of space between your ears and your shoulders. As we do this, if you want to close your eyes, guys, you can. If you're outside in the sunshine, this is going to be gorgeous. I want you to tip your chin up towards the ceiling or the sky and feel that lovely stretch coming down the front of your neck. Again, just imagine I'm stood behind you with my hands pressing down on your shoulders. Good. And then come the other way. So tuck your chin into your chest. Good. And feel that stretch now along the back of your neck, along the back of the shoulders there. Good. You can come back up. Let's just take it into a couple of little neck rolls. If you're feeling a little creaky, clicky, grindy perhaps, this will help to sort you out. So again, you can go slowly if you feel stuck in a certain position. You want to stay with it, then do. Otherwise, keep rolling around all the way and then coming around a couple of times in the opposite direction. And as we're doing these, just coming back to our breathing and just thinking about our posture once more. Good stuff. Let's roll and reset our shoulders. Okay, so I think we are ready to begin. So we're going to do a couple of moves, nice mobility moves to begin with, not using our band, and then we're going to come onto the band shortly, okay? So I want you to start by taking a nice deep inhale. As you inhale, you're going to raise your arms up overhead, bring them all the way up in line with your ears. On the exhale, we're going to take the arms out, palms are facing up to the ceiling. And from here, we're just going to add in a nice little torso twist. So you can allow your hips to come around slightly with you here. Just moving, allowing your chest to come around just as far as you're comfortable with. We'll do 2 in each direction. So this is 2 and 2. We're going to come back to centre, release the arms. You're going to tuck your chin into your chest. You're going to come into a little half roll down. So if you're pregnant, maybe you've got a bit of a bump in the way here, just come down as far as you're comfortable with. Maybe let your arms just dangle here. Or if you think you can roll down a little bit further, then of course come down as far as feels good for you. I just want you to allow your arms to dangle, and you can give them a little shake and shimmy here, guys. You want to imagine that your shoulder blades at the part are just kind of loosening off and falling apart slightly. Good. And then we're going to roll it back up. We're going to take another inhale, arms coming up overhead. We're going to exhale, send the arms out wide. Good. And we're going to come back into our torso twist and just see if we can reach around a little bit further this time. So coming a little bit more into the stretch. Beautiful. Again, we're going to go 2 in each direction. So this is second to the right, back through centre, and second to the left. Come back through, release the arms, roll, reset your shoulders. At any point you need to have a little pedal through. Then this time we're going to bring the arms just up to chest height, okay? So let's do it with our breath. Inhale, exhale, send the arms out wide. And then we're going to come up and over. So this should feel like a stretch just starting to creep down into your rib cage. So I want you to think about each of those ribs just gently prising apart, opening up. If you can get your arm all the way across to your other arm, then do. If you can only come part of the way, then just come part of the way, okay? This is meant to feel nice. It's whatever feels good for you. Let's go 2 and 1. You're going to release the arms, and once again you're going to come just into your little half roll down as far as you are comfortable with. Maybe you've loosened off a little bit and you feel that you can come all the way down into a fold, or maybe you're happy just higher, allowing your arms to shimmy off. Wherever you are, just stay here for a moment, and then when you're ready, peel yourself back up to standing. Think about stacking that spine, one vertebrae at a time, as we grow nice and tall again. So hopefully you've got just a little bit of heat coming into the shoulders and the arms now. So now we're going to pick up our resistance bands, guys. Okay, so this is one of my most favourite pieces of kit, because it's cheap and cheerful and it doesn't take up any space in the house. It's awesome. But there's so much that you can do with it. You can use it for strength work. We're not really going to be using it for strength work today. It's also great as just a little bit of a focus tool, or you can add in a little bit extra resistance into your stretches. If you want to now, you can take your feet a little bit wider apart. So if you're more comfortable coming shoulder width apart, by all means come shoulder width apart, but just think about keeping that nice posture with your spine. So you're going to take your band in your hands, you're going to bring it down to the front of your thighs. Again, we're going to work with our breaths, guys, so we're going to take a nice deep inhale, filling up our lungs, raising the band all the way up overhead. And then from here, we're going to come into a little rainbow. So we're going to draw a little quarter circle off to one side, come back through the top, and then off to the other side. And as you do this, you can either just hold your band, or you can give a little pull down. So as you come off to the side, you can give a little pull down for a little bit added extra je ne sais quoi. Good. So whatever feels good for you. Try and keep your hips facing forwards though. So we want all of this lovely mobilisation coming into the top half of the body, not into the lower half. Good. Let's do one more here. And then we're going to come back up to top. I want you to keep those arms elevated. And if you've got a band that's got a bit of give in it, a resistance band, you're going to come into pulses. If you're using something else, so like a dressing gown band, I just want you to pull apart so that you've got tension. As you do these, just think about gently hugging that belly button back in towards your spine, okay? Good. And trying not to let the shoulders creep up, so the shoulders are still pulled down. Beautiful. Let's go 4 and 3, 2 and 1. You're going to release the hands, and then you're going to roll and reset your shoulders. I'm just going to turn sideways on for this next little set. So we're going to start from the same position, band just in front of the thighs. We're going to inhale up just to shoulder height, or to chest height this time, and then we're going to add in our little twist. So we're really working into our shoulders and into our spine here, guys, because as I said, if you're a mum, you will, whether you like it or not, spend a lot of time hunched over, scooping, carrying, lifting, whatever it is, and we need to take some time. We never take enough time to loosen everything off. So we want to get these muscles moving, we want to get them strong and active, and then we want to give them time to release and fall apart. Good. Once more, bring it into the chest. We're going to exhale, press forwards. Inhale, draw it back in. Exhale, press forwards. Inhale, draw it back in. And you can think about syncing up your abdominals a little bit here. What I mean by that is creating a bit of space. So exhale, push forwards, draw the belly button back. Inhale, release, relax. Good. Let's go 3 and 2. Got one more here, guys. And this time we're going to hold. So you're going to keep your band held out at about shoulder height, but without the shoulders up by the ear, so not ear height. We're going to hold it here. Good. As we hold it, we're going to hinge forwards. Again, your stopping point might be here, it might be here, or it might be coming all the way to the shins. you want to feel a nice stretch up along the backs of your legs. So moving down the body a little bit now. So keep those kneecaps not locked, but just lifted up slightly. As you hinge forwards, feel the stretch. Let's do a couple more like this. For 2. Good. And then one more here. Hinging forwards to wherever your point is. And then coming up, and we're going to bring the band all the way behind our back now. So if you've wrapped it around your hands a little bit like I have, you might need to loosen it off, okay? So you're going to bring your band all the way behind your back now. So actually, it's resting against your butt, okay? You're going to have your knuckles facing forward, wrap the band around your hands a couple of times, and we're just going to pull apart, or pull back, sorry, slightly here, turn this way. So again, just as far as you're comfortable with. It might be a little movement, or you might come much further. You want to squeeze your shoulder blades together, but without throwing your hips forwards, yeah? So stay nice and tall, and how good does that feel? We never move in this direction. We never move kind of backwards. So not only are we squeezing the shoulder blades together here, we're opening out through the front of the chest. So hopefully you can feel it across here, the front of the shoulders, front of the chest. So keep going here for me. Lift and lower. And don't forget, you can come back to your nice breathing at any point. Sink in your movements with your breathing. Let's go 2. Good. And 1. Release, but keep the band behind you, and then you're going to shake and shimmy it up, guys, to just about bra strap height, okay? So behind your back, about bra strap height, but you want it coming underneath your armpits, okay? Or underneath your arms, not over the tops of your biceps. Again, if you need a bit more of a stable base here, take your legs out a little bit wider, and from here we're just going to come into a reach and stretch. A reach and stretch. So if you're feeling energetic and you want to take it into a bit more of a dynamic workout, you could add in a little heel lift, and you could add in a full reach. You could go a little bit speedier if you want to, or you can just stay here and just come back to whatever feels good. So it's your workout, your choices, guys. Do what works for you. Again, if you've got a band with a bit of stretch, really try and eke into that stretch, yeah? So make that band work for you. Good, let's go 4. And 3. 2. And 1. Release the band from your bra strap height, and then we're going to come all the way up and over. All the way up and over. And I say that like it's easy. If you're really tight, you might get to about here and feel a bit stuck. That's fine. Come to here and come forwards again. The idea is that we're starting to loosen off. So if that's your point, just come to there and bring it back down again. If it feels good to bring it all the way around, bring it all the way around. The more you do these, guys, the looser you're going to become, yeah? That's the whole point of our stretches, is to make us feel good and be more flexible. So this is our last standing one. So just enjoy the movement here. Really good for working into those shoulder kind of rotator cuffs and getting moving again in all directions. Let's go 3 and 2 and 1 more here. Beautiful stuff. You're going to pop your band down on your mat for now, but before we come down onto the floor, I just want to give those shoulders a little bit of a reset. Because even though we've been doing some stretching, maybe they were starting to creep up a little bit. So let's just take it into a couple of little shoulder rolls, maybe a double, maybe you want to go big arm circles. Again, whatever feels nice for you. You can move your hips, you don't have to stay static. And then we're going to come down to the mats. So you can come down to your mat however you please. Maybe you want to kneel down if you're heavily pregnant, kneel down. We're coming down to all fours. Okay, if you want to come into a roll down, if that feels good for you, you can come into a roll down. So walk to the end of your mat, make sure your feet are underneath your hips, the bony bits, guys. And then we're going to tuck the chin into the chest. We'll slowly roll it down, okay, there's no rush here. You can soften through your knees, you can bring your fingertips to the floor. We're going to walk it forwards, and then we're going to sink to our knees. Let me shimmy back a little bit here. Okay, so once you're in your all four positioning, we're not going to go straight into our stretches. I want to take time here. So first thing I want you to do is make sure that your wrists are underneath your shoulders, okay? So don't leave your hands out here. If you leave your hands out here, you're going to put a lot of impact into your joints and not into your muscles. So bring your hands underneath your wrist. And then I want you to think about the insides of your elbows facing in towards each other. So sometimes when we do this, especially if you've got kind of a little bit of hypermobility there, the inside bits can tend to shine forwards a little bit. So what I want you to do if that happens is turn your hands in to this, 10 past 10 positioning. So whatever you need to do, reposition your hands so that the crux of your elbows are facing in towards each other. Good. And if you're not comfortable on flexed wrists, guys, you can always come up onto bunched fists here, or you can roll your mat so you've got a bit of cushioning, okay? Once you've done that, just check that your hips are directly underneath, or directly above your knees, I should say. And I want us to just start by rocking back and forth, playing around with our body weight a little bit. So we're not coming all the way back into child's pose. We're not coming all the way forwards into cobra, but we are just shifting our body weight. So bottom comes back towards heels, and then shoulders lean over the wrists. Good. As we do these, think about lengthening out that spine. So try and keep your neck nice and long. You don't need to be looking down towards your knees here. I'm sure they're lovely knees, but we don't need to be looking at them right now. And I want you to think about lifting up your belly button. Let's do that a couple more times. 2 and 1, and then finding centre. Good. So nice flat back, guys. If I was to come along in the sunshine and balance a tray of cocktails on there, I don't want you to spill a drop. From here, we're going to come into a threading of the needle. So you're going to take one hand. Let's take the left hand. You're going to scoop it underneath your torso. You're going to drop your shoulder and your ear all the way down to the mat. Your bottom's going to stay high. And then what I want you to do is collapse this other elbow down. So you're really relaxing into this. So after that work that we did with the resistance bands, this should feel like a really lovely stretch along the back of your shoulder blades. I want you to hold here. And then on your next exhale, I want you to press up with that supporting hand. Unscoop your hand from underneath your torso and bring it out and up in the other direction. So now you should feel this as a stretch across the front of your chest. So turn your gaze in the direction of that outstretched hand. I'm going to hold 2, 1, and then we're going to release, making sure that we bring it back underneath our shoulder. Let's do the same on the opposite side. So scoop that right arm down, shoulder and ear dropping to the mat, and then releasing the other elbow. Holding here, enjoying this one. When you're ready, exhale, press up through that supporting arm, turn and release. And again, you can just come into this stretch as much as you want to. So if you just want to come up to shoulder height, you absolutely can. Whatever feels good, guys. And then I want you releasing back down. So from here, we're going to come into some cat-cows. So with your cat-cows, again, just think about coming back to your breathing a little bit. So for your first movement, as you tuck your pelvis under and you lift up, you tuck your chin, now you can look down towards your knees as you round through the shoulders. And then on your next breath, I want you pressing away, bottom goes back, chest lifts, chin lifts again. If you're outside, up to the sunshine. So just go through these to the extreme that you're comfortable with. So for example, if you've recently had a C-section scar, you want to get a little bit of mobilisation, okay? So if you feel like there's a little bit of tugging there, but it's not painful, that's not a bad thing. Don't stop, okay? Because we want to get all those scar tissues immobilising again. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. If there's one that you prefer, so if you prefer being up in cat, stay up in cat. No one says you have to go down to cow. Whichever you prefer. And then when you finish this little set that you're on now, just come back to all fours and give your hips a little wriggle side to side. If you need to have a little break and come up off your wrist for a moment and give them a release, then you can. So this next little set, if you've got a resistance band, we're going to add a resistance band in. If it's not a resistance band, feel free to do this without anything at all, okay? If you've got the band, you're going to bring it underneath one knee. You're going to wrap it around the same side hand as the knee that it's come under. So we're going to start just by coming into some arm lifts. So up and down. up and down. So we're staying on all fours and we're just incorporating the arm lifts here again, trying to get that arm all the way up in line with your ear, keeping that back nice and flat. If you want to make this a little bit more challenging, you can take that opposite leg off the mat at the same time. So you're going to come into a lift and lower, bird dog. If that feels too wobbly, if you're just not in the mood, keep the knee to the floor and come into just the hands. Good. Let's go 2 and 1. On this last one, I want you to hold. So extend that arm and hold. Or if you're in bird dog, maybe without the band, extend and hold. Good. For 3, 2 and 1. Release the hand, release the knee. Come up, give everything a little circle through, a little roll off, and then we're going to switch sides. So if you're using a band, all you need to do is transfer your band underneath the opposite knee. We're going to do the same on this side, okay? So starting just with the hands, guys, so coming into your arm lift. Staying on all fours to start off with. And then if you want a bit more of a challenge, taking that opposite leg off. So we tap down with fingers and toes, and then we lift off. If you're doing the leg, squeeze the glute to lift the leg, okay? Let's get some bonus booty work in as we're stretching out. And then on this last one, come into your hold. Good. We're holding for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. Release, bring the knee down, and you're going to get rid of your band, guys. We don't need that. Right now, we'll need it once more at the end. But for now, I just want you coming back to your all four positioning. And we're going to send our hips in a circle. So imagine that you're drawing a circle. Do you remember those toys that we used to get? Well, I used to get, maybe I'm showing my age here, as children. I think they were called spirographs, where you put a little pen in this little circle of plastic and you could make all amazing patterns. So I want you to imagine that you're a spirograph if you know what I'm talking about. So you're transferring your weight from heel to heel to wrist. Good. And then coming around in the opposite direction. So again, just a really nice little stretch and mobilisation. Good. Let's go 2 and 1 and release. So from here, we're going to finish off by coming into either sitting or lying, okay? So I'm going to give you 2 options here, guys. So if you are pregnant, I want you sitting up for this one because I don't want you lying down on your back. But if you're able to lie down on your back, I'll show you the lying down option. You're going to use your resistance band and we're going to use it to come into a little bit of leg and hip stretches, okay? So sitting up nice and tall is the sitting option. Take one leg out long, hook your band underneath your other leg, and this is going to give you the support that you need. And you're just going to lift it up off the floor and you're going to come into some circles. If you want a bit extra support, hold the band just in one hand and bring your supporting hand down to the floor. So this is going to feel nice, okay, in the hips and in your hip flexors if you're a little bit tight. If you're able to, you can do this one from lying down on your back. So you're going to come down onto your back, you're going to hook your foot into the band, and then you can take it into bigger circles if you want to. You can do this with your shoulders lifted, or you can relax all the way down onto the floor. So find the option that's right for you guys, that's comfortable for you, and then take it in the opposite direction. So you're just trying to work through all parts of your body. We've done a lot of nice upper body stretches. We've worked into our spine, into our lower back, a little bit with the glutes, and now we're coming into the hips. Okay, you're going to switch across. So if you're on your back, take your leg up, pedal one in, and release on the other side. Good. So I'm sitting up slightly. I don't know why, it's because I feel like I can watch what you're doing, but don't worry, I can't actually see into your room wherever you are now. But if you're normally lying down, feel free to relax your shoulders. Good. And then change direction once more. Beautiful step. We're going for 4 and 3, 2, and 1. Good stuff. And then from here, if you were lying down, you're going to make your way back up to sitting. If you're newly postnatal, if you've got a diastasis, roll over onto your side. If not, you can step both feet into your band and you can use your band to help rock you back up to sitting. Let's release. So guys, I hope you're feeling like you have moved a little bit, but in a way that feels good. We're going to come into just a little bit of seated stretches and relaxation now, okay? So I want you to sit however you are comfortable. So whether that is, you can even kneel if you want to, if you want to grab a cushion off the sofa, if you want to go legs out long, cross legs, however you're comfortable, nothing to think about other than your posture. So think about lengthening it up, that spine. If you need to move your waistband, if you need to kind of move the squidgy bits of your bum a little bit so that you can get comfortable, do whatever you need to do, and then take a moment. So even though we were doing some lovely stretches, we have been working, so I just want you to take a moment to relax here now. So just bring your wrists, backs of your hands, just rest them down on your knees, or you can have them down by your side if you're a little bit more comfortable there. If you want to shut off your eyes here, then you absolutely can. Just like we did at the start, I want us to take our chin up to the sky or up to the ceiling to start off with. And as we do this, let's just come back into that nice intentional breathing where we're filling up our ribs, filling up our lungs, and just feeling the tension ease off, even if at this moment in time you're being clambered upon by youngsters. Just take a moment to appreciate and be thankful for the movement that you have done. And then let's take the chin down to the chest again. If I could be behind you now, pressing your shoulders down, it's exactly what I would be doing. Just allowing yourself to relax. Just try, if you can, to clear your mind of any noise and thoughts that's going on. I know it's not always easy, but by just coming back to focusing on our breath, we can do that even if it's just for a moment. Let's take the chin up to centre. You can either come into some neck circles now, guys, or if you prefer, you can turn and look over one direction. Whichever one you naturally feel drawn to, then go with that. Good. If you're doing one side, let's turn and face over the other side. If you are circling, let's just change direction. Perfect stuff. Coming back to centre, I want you to take your arms and wrap them around. What should we visualise? Giant cocktail. It's the sunny vibe, so making me feel like I'm on the beach. I'm going to say giant cocktail, but you can make it a cup of tea. You can make it a comfy pillow, whatever you need to. Pull the shoulder blades apart at the back. Again, just gently thinking about drawing your belly button back in towards the spine. So this should feel like a lovely stretch along the back of your shoulders here. Then I want you to interlace your fingers. I want them to press away from your body, and I want you to bring your arms up overhead as high as you can. Remember that we're trying to separate out those ribs, arms up in line with your ears. Good. And then on your next exhale, release your hands, bring them around the back. So into the small of your back, press forwards. So now your shoulder blades are squeezed together and you're pressing your chest forwards. Good. Let's hold for 2 and 1. And then when you are ready, let's just get a little bit of movement back in. So give your shoulders a little roll through in all directions, so don't forget to roll them forwards as well as back. You can go singles and doubles. Again, if your wrists need a little bit more of a mobilisation and a shake off, then do. And then in your own time, guys, if you've got time to yourself and you want to just spend a moment coming back down to laying on your mat, maybe laying on your side or on your back or coming back onto all fours, then feel free to stay with it for the moment. But if you need to come back up, like I do, feel free to come back up, but nice and slowly, there's no rush, okay? We've been down on the mats for a little while there. Take on board plenty of water, once again. I know we haven't been doing anything crazy and high impact, but it's still important to keep hydrated, especially in this weather. Guys, I hope that you enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that. I always think we never take enough time to stretch off, and hopefully you're feeling just a little looser, a little freer, maybe you're just going to stand a little taller today. Don't forget to hit save on this workout, okay, so that you can come back to it whenever you need to. It's a lovely one to do first thing in the morning, last thing at night, or just if you need a little bit of headspace during the day. Thank you so much for joining me. I've been Fee at Fitter Mother. Take care.